Hey-o! Welcome to the $100 MBA Show, the business podcast that's a year strong, giving you a new business lesson every day, all week long, with our daily 10-minute business lessons for the real world. I'm your host, your coach, your teacher, Omar Zenhom. I'm also the co-founder of the $100 MBA, a complete business training and community online. And today, the $100 MBA Show is a year old. Cue the music, Nicole. Let's party. All right, we can't party for too long. We got a lesson to teach. In today's lesson, you will learn is starting a podcast a good idea for your business? The $100 MBA Show has been running for a year now, and I want to share with you my personal advice, my personal opinion on starting a podcast. Is it a good idea for your business? Does it help your business? And what are some things to look out for? Speaking of business, let's get down to business. Today's episode of the $100 MBA Show is sponsored by Media Temple. For years, Media Temple's grid service has been the web hosting choice for more designers, developers, and creative professionals than any other platform. That's because a single grid account can host anything from your portfolio site to 100 different client projects. And the grid is ready for anything. Hundreds of servers working together in order to keep your sites online, even if you suddenly hit the homepage of Reddit. And as a special discount for $100 MBA Show listeners, use promo code MBA25 for 25% off web hosting. Go to MediaTemple.net and enter your promo code upon signing up. That's MBA25 at MediaTemple.net. So, is starting a podcast a good idea for your business? Of course it is, if you do it right. Let me first start by saying this isn't our first podcast, and it's not our only podcast either. Before we launched the $100 MBA Show, we had a podcast that was, let's say, not really a success. It was a complete failure. But we learned a lot of hard lessons and did the right things the next time around. We also have another podcast called Webinar Ninja, which is our podcast that talks about how to teach, present, and sell on webinars. And it's a different style podcast. It's not a daily podcast, it's a weekly podcast, and we do them in seasons. We just wrapped up season 1 a few months ago, and season 2 is launching this week. So we've learned a lot about podcasting and how it affects your business along the way. So I have a few caveats if you're thinking about starting a podcast to help your business. You can't go into this starting a podcast thinking it's a great way to make money. Because if money is your primary goal, you're going to sacrifice the value and the content you're trying to offer. When we launched the $100 MBA Show, our main goal was to reach as many people as possible and help them with their businesses. We wanted to grow an audience and serve them. And in fact, we didn't have any sponsors on the show for the first 90 or so episodes. And we never looked out for sponsors. Sponsors came to us. So have the right intentions. Your intention with the podcast is to be a strong platform for content marketing, a great way for you to share value and earn the trust of your audience. We hope that's what we're doing here at the $100 MBA Show. We hope that we're earning your trust by giving you valuable lessons every single day and not thinking about what are we going to get in return. If somebody listens to our podcast and learns a lot and it benefits them, but they never buy any of our products or services, we're completely okay with that. We're actually more than okay with that because we're still impacting our audience. And that person that is benefiting from our show, I'm sure they're going to be talking about us. And maybe the person they tell will buy something from us. The point is that you launch a podcast thinking of the long-term goal, building a brand and being an authority in your market, being the person that serves the best. We want to be the go-to people when it comes to business education. And you only do that by having the mission of wanting to serve better than anybody else. So that's caveat number 1. Caveat number 2 is you have to be consistent. Even when things are not going great. A lot of people, when they launch a podcast, they have a lot of buzz in the beginning. They do a great launch. They're featured in New and Noteworthy on iTunes. And then after that first 8 weeks period where New and Noteworthy ends, their efforts start to dwindle because their ranking starts to drop. And they start feeling, wow, the show is maybe not that successful. Maybe it's not worth it. And they don't focus on what I just talked about. Don't worry about the stats. Don't worry about all those things. Just focus on value. There are people listening to you. Serve those people listening to you. And you still can grow and keep building your audience. And the only way to do that is to be consistent. There's so many great podcasts I've seen just completely stop publishing because of this epidemic. People just quit because they feel like, oh, I'm not up there in iTunes. Who's going to find me? But what about everybody that subscribes to your show? You just abandon them? Keep serving them. And being a great podcaster doesn't happen overnight. It takes time and practice and rehearsal, and it takes years to be great on the mic. So see being consistent with your podcast as a part of you being a master at what you do. So it doesn't matter if you're a daily, weekly, bi-weekly podcast, if you do seasons, as long as you're consistent, you're on the right track. Third caveat, understand that the podcast, the episodes that you publish, they're just the beginning. You can't expect people to listen to your podcast and then say, hey, these guys are great. I'm going to buy everything they have. No, make sure that you have something on your website for them to consume for free so you can continue to build trust. When people are ready to buy, they will buy. But you can help them be ready by giving them more stuff to build trust with you. So you'll notice that I never tell you, the listener, to join the $100 MBA. Go ahead and be a member of $100 MBA and pay us $100. You guys know what we do, and if you want to be a member, you'll become a member. But what I can say is I want to continue to help you, and I do want to continue to help you. And there's some really great stuff that can help you out on our website, like our free courses, like our free guides, like our blog. And these things can allow you to understand what we're all about. And it gives you something to consume while you're thinking about it. And when you're ready, you're going to do it on your own. That's how it works in business. Did anybody have to convince you to buy your iPhone, for example, or whatever mobile phone you use? No. You came to that conclusion on your own and decided to buy it. So know that the podcast is just the beginning of building a relationship. The fourth caveat is take it seriously. There's a lot of pros coming into the podcasting world, and if you want to compete with the pros, you got to become one. Nicole and I aspire to be one of the best podcasts out there. And in order to do that, we have to continue to refine our craft. I have to be better at scripting a great episode. I got to be better at constructing a great lesson. I got to be better on the mic. Nicole, our producer and editor, she has to make sure the overall production of the show is constantly improving. And this goes beyond, the quality of your mic or the software you use to edit. It could be something as simple as improving the quality of your voice. It's a podcast, for crying out loud. It's an audio format. It's the tool that you have to use. So use it. Guys, I got more on today's topic, but before that, I got to give love to today's sponsor, Vistaprint. Right now at Vistaprint.com, you can get 500 business cards for just $9.99 when you enter promo code MBA at checkout. If you don't have a business card in your wallet, in your purse, in your pocket at all times, you're missing out because you never know when you're going to make a new business contact or meet somebody who's interested in what you do. Just the other day, I was in an Uber ride, and the driver was really interested in starting a business. I told him about the $100 MBA Show podcast and what we do, and I was able to hand him a business card right then and there. It's still the easiest way to share your contact and spread the word about what you do. And we've been using Vistaprint to print our business cards from day one. They're amazing. The quality is fantastic. In fact, if you go to today's show notes, you'll see a picture of my business card that I've printed with Vistaprint. We love Vistaprint and want you to try them. So Vistaprint has a special offer for $100 MBA listeners. Just enter coupon code MBA at Vistaprint.com and get 500 business cards starting at just $9.99. That's up to 50% savings off the regular pricing. That's Vistaprint.com. Enter code MBA. So to sum up, guys, starting a podcast is a good idea for your business. But understand that a podcast is just a part of your business. It's not the business itself. And in my opinion, it's one of the best ways to market the right way, with great content, with great value. And we're just getting started. Yes, we're a year old, but we're here for the long haul. And we want to thank you guys for being here with us along the way. It means so much to us that you are listening. Without you guys, we don't have a show. You're the reason why we exist. So from the bottom of our hearts, Nicole and I want to thank you for being listeners, for being subscribers to the $100 MBA Show. Lastly, guys, I want to leave you with this. Podcasting is becoming a very popular platform these days. It's growing. With the emergence of great podcasts like WTF by Mark Maron, he recently interviewed the President of the United States, Barack Obama, or podcasts like Serial that changed podcasting and brought people to the podcasting platform. Now is a great time to start one because it's still fresh, it's still new. If I had to take a guess, in about a year or two, it's going to get really crowded. So it's a good time to get started. All right, guys, I'll check you in tomorrow's episode. Until then, take care.